Section 1 of Hawaiian Hilltop. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Hawaiian Hilltop by Genevieve Taggard. Read by Newgatenovelist. In Greece the shadows slept as still. In Rome the hills were arched as high. Their wind now blows my hair, and will stir other maidens when I die. And leaves that print the dust with lines, and pebbles rubbed and rounded blue, and burrs like baby porcupines, looked this way when the Nile was new. And dust, to Babylonian feet, was downy soft and good to tread. The bees that mumble in this heat made the same honey for their bread. Both early with the sun and late crept the same shades and flew the same white flags of clouds across the straight horizon of another name. Men shipped us messages in stone, the careful stories of their kings, but they were dumb about their own undying things. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Bronze Boy by Genevieve Taggard. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. To this deep pool with blowing torches came your fathers, lithe as flame, trailing their nets and poising their slim spears over this pool 100 years. Up from the pool the dim white fishes came after the flame, to touch the fluid fire plunging down into this pool where all but fishes drown. Above your pool we lie, on your worn stone, and you are known by these dim fishes that will dart and glide when you and your flame-bodied race have died. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Tropic Mother's Melody by Genevieve Taggard. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Cocoa palm, bend double and tickle my baby. Shark in the pool, splash your tail. Spread for him, peacock. Swing for him, banyan, for my brown little baby boy. Tattoo him, son, with patterns of passion vine. Big black beetle, leave him be. Circle, red flamingos, white flamingos, fly, for my brown little baby boy. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Kanaka Mother-Goose by Genevieve Taggard. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. The sea is a dress for your nakedness, a loincloth blue and green, with fishes for embroidery, the tiny ones, I mean. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Native Daphne by Genevieve Taggard. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. If you would love a maiden for her eyes, go to the silver-shy kukui tree, a maiden fair forever in disguise, lest men should spoil her of her chastity. Men come as friends, but go as guilty thieves. For your hot forehead gather her cool leaves, sit in her lap and listen as she stirs green meditations that alone are hers. And for you few who love a woman's soul, kukui oil will make an aureole. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Phantoms at Tea by Genevieve Taggard, read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Into your tea one petal, into my pages two, above us a lattice of cherries embroidered on the blue, around us the runnel of water, above us the shiver of shade, as petal by petal by petal the cherry phantoms fade. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Dying Away Song by Genevieve Taggard, read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Mood in a strange country of 4 seasons. I left you fields forlorn, I found you dying, saw grasses torn, heard crying. Leaves in frailty lifted, now are fallen, even your dust is sifted with old pollen. Autumn, autumn follows where I go, after me swallows, then snow. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Portygee Love-Song by Genevieve Taggard, read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. The Portuguese were one of 15 successive nationalities imported into the islands to do sugar planting. Dolores Lane was where she lived before she lived with me, and when she left Dolores Lane, there was no one to see. She left it in the bitter rain to come and live with me. Within my house is firelight, without is bitter rain. She does not love the firelight. Against the window pane she leans and looks and longs tonight for dull Dolores Lane. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Hallucination by Genevieve Taggard, read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. What was it flew over me there, over me lightly, darted and left me to stare after it whitely? Mists of the long, low moon, wraiths of the meadow, dune after dune after dune, you saw its shadow. Was it a dream I had, forgotten quite, come back to make me sad, ashamed and white? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Solar Myth by Genevieve Taggard, read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Maui, the dutiful son and great hero, yields to his mother's entreaty and adjusts the center of the universe to her convenience. The days are too short for drying tapa. He is persuaded to slow down the speed of the spider sun with a lasso of sisal rope. The golden spider of the sky leaped from the crater's rim, and all the winds of morning rose and spread and followed him. The circle of the day swept out his vast and splendid path. The purple sea spumed in the west his humid evening bath. 20 mighty legs he had, and over earth there passed shadows daily whipping by, faster, faster, fast. For daily did he wax more swift, and daily did he run the span of heaven to the sea, a lusty rebel son. Then Maui's mother came to him with weight of household woes. I cannot get my tapa dry before the daylight goes. Morning I rise and spread with care my tapa on the grass. Evening I gather it again, a damp and sodden mass. Then Maui rose and climbed at night the mountain. Dim and deep within the crater's bowl he saw the sprawling sun asleep. He looped his ropes, the mighty man, he whirled his sisal cords. They whistled like a hurricane and cut the air like swords. Up sprang the spider. Maui hurled his lasso after him. The spider fled. Great Maui stood firm on the mountain rim. The spider dipped and swerved and pulled, but struggle as he might, around one half his whirl of legs, the sisal ropes cut tight. He broke them off, the mighty man. He dropped them in the sea. Where there had once been 60 legs, there now were 33. Maui counted them and took the pathway home, and came back to his mother, brooding, strode like a lost man and lame. The tarnished spider of the sky limped slowly over heaven, and with his going mourned and moaned the missing 27. On with a hollow voice he mourned, poured out his hollow woe. Over each day the sound of him bellowing went below. Maui saw the gulls swarm up and scream and settle on the carcass of the limping thing that once had been the sun. But still he thought at length to have his mother satisfied. Can't you put back his legs again, now all my tapa's dried? The days are long and dull, she said, I loved to see them skim. Wearily the old sun shook the blackbirds off of him. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Skull Song by Genevieve Taggard. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. A sea god, whose father had been immortal, becomes a skeleton. The skin of the sea was thick tonight, and the tone of the sea was dull, when I found by the edge of the sullen sea the half of a sea god's skull. Half of a sea god's skull was there, half of a sea god's tail. When I dug them out of the clutch of the sand, the peering moon went pale. The peering moon went pale because her other eye had seen the other half of the sea god's bones, 10,000 fathom green. 10,000 fathom green with sea, the sea god's other bones swayed in a dead sea goddess's arms on a pile of sea-washed stones. The skin of the sea was thick tonight, and the tone of the sea was dull, while I buried away from the sinister sea all the mortal part of a skull. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Kona Storm by Genevieve Taggard. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. thunder and booming down within the womb of hollow earth that grows and dims and dies. Apart the stars are rushing, the night skies are flecked with white and drenched in foam and spume. The lawn is strewn with briars. In the flume I hear the crashing cane, and there are cries of wounded birds that fall to earth and rise one-winged, and tall black palms thresh in the gloom. Oh, tempest, take me in thy bold embrace, more lover, thou, than men whose voices fret against their ills. In storm, wind round me wet white arms, my sad confused sense erase. I know not mankind, nor know thee, and yet more love thy majesty than any face. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Kona Rain by Genevieve Taggard, read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. The rice is blowing, winnowed with the rain. Across our pond the broken rushes drift. Beyond the fields, the trees a scarlet stain where we were yesterday. Your hands are swift, oh, dear, your hands are swift. To turn my face from this wet window pane. Across our pond the broken rushes drift. The rice is blowing, winnowed with the rain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. To a Brown Face by Genevieve Taggard, read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. We too have known an island and a sea that keep us ever foreign to this shore. For you, the sun, in my dull ears, the roar of that surrounding ocean haunting me. We dream and still are dumb, unwillingly to that far kingdom subject. Long before I knew your name, your very presence bore a portion of its warm serenity. Once, when we sat at tea, among the rest, come from the foggy hills, I saw your eyes stare at the fire, and with grave surprise knew on your lonely face my own heart's quest. To that far land the wind forever flies, and all the waves of earth move to the west. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Tale Piece for a Romance by Genevieve Taggard, read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. On stones my heart has fallen, on stones it lies, away from the people passing with their curious eyes. On stones my heart has fallen, on flinty stones it bleeds, between a stiff flower and two weeds. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Child Tropics by Genevieve Taggard, read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Never now can any river cool me, never can white silence ease me, nor the dew distilled even in ginger flowers satisfy, unless out of abundance in the lap of seas, wind widened out to the pure line of skies grew an old hunger. And behind my eyes is always your lost crimson, your drunk bees. On my lips your drouth, and I am always reaching for the mouth of the honey nights I've seen wasted in the south. And then how many days I followed down the tangled river banks, beside the cool white-bellied fishes, there to hang above the rocky pools and brown-cupped velvet mosses where they slept. Often and often, crackling twigs I crept waking them, when over them there went my timid shadows leaning wonderment. At night, sitting alone, out on the steps between my warped tree and the stone, its roots encircled sundering, I learned how the white stars burned. Washing my feet in chilly water, counting bruises, staring at the stars, the uneven Dipper and red-bearded Mars, caught in my thorny tree. Oh, the hunger and wild sorrow in me, those nights, those honey nights, with the rich swoon of mango flowers thick against the moon, and drawn across the coral reefs, the sea, flashing its foam-white flatness up to me. Oh no, this hunger is not new, but older, hotter, than when I plunged in the fever marshes, where there grew the cool white ginger buds, or when I flew down the small valley, desolate and scarred, between the red volcano hills and hard harsh outlines of old trees, that fed on bitter soil until their sap was dead. How like a fugitive our glad fulfillment goes over hills before us, leaving only earth's abundance in ruins, earth that grows fruit for her children they can never eat, food for the starved to see, and honey-sweet clusters of grapes dropping with the noon heat. Never, now, can any river cool me, never can white silence ease me, nor the dew distilled even in ginger flowers satisfy, unless this old quick thirst, this aching aridness, that urged us once, turn keen torment again with beauty's wind, a knife along the clear hot hills, unless we hear her tiny plaint in every teeming rain, unless her pollen comes honey on our senses, and her drums beat in our wrists, until we turn as then to find each other radiant in her pain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Tourist by Genevieve Taggard. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. He saw the hula flower in her hair drop to her bosom, where it rose and fell. Forgotten was her lover. Slow her stare, felt for his eyes, her warm body's smell, the yellow stamen perfume on her breath, the poison heavy sleepiness of death, made all her figure's slender golden grace seem like a censer in an altered place. Swinging she danced the hula, and the moon hung on the mountain honeying the night. Her dress of flowers whirled about her, strewn along the grass the fire petals died. Then like a bat against that disk of light leaped up her lover, and the lonely wide hollow and shadow echoed as he cried. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of Hawaiian Hilltop by Genevieve Taggard. Thank you for listening.